What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, I'm going to be giving you my easy guide on how to beat the Metyr Mother of Fingers boss fight in Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree. I'll be showing you how to quickly access it, my build, and easy to follow guide on how I defeated Metyr's boss fight. I'll be honest, with this build and strategy, I didn't even see but a few seconds of the second phase because I shredded Metyr before she could really unleash any of her devastating attacks on me, but I'll try to break down what I did see. As with all my guides, this will also be with no Ashen Summons, but feel free to use one to make the fight even easier. Before we get started, if this guide helps you defeat this boss fight, be sure to light the bonfire on that like button. And if you want more boss fight guides for Elden Ring's DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree, be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss an upload. But let's get right into it. In order to even find Metyr, you'll need to complete the Finger Ruins questline. To begin this, you'll need to reach the location Cathedral of Manus Metyr. Once there, speak with the guy on the throne and he'll give you a map to a Finger Ruins. Be sure that every time you talk to him that you're exhausting all of his dialogue, even when he has a subject for you to ask him about. From the Cerulean Cross site of Grace, you'll need to follow this route to reach the Finger Ruins of Rhea. You'll take a right into this little pathway, go all the way down the shoreline, and once you reach this incline, you'll want to run up it until you reach the top and exit to the right to find the ruins ahead. Once there, find the large circular finger formation in the heart of the ruins and step up to the hanging finger and blow the horn. You'll receive a new talisman for your efforts, and then you'll need to return to the cathedral. He'll then give you the second map, which leads to the Finger Ruins of Dio. From the Hinterlands Bridge site of Grace, just make your way down the path and run past every enemy you see. Make your way through the Fingerprint Ruins, and again, find the finger formation, blow the horn, and receive another talisman, and make your way back to the cathedral. Once there, talk to Count Ymir again, then go rest at the site of Grace. Now his chair will be empty, and you can push the button on the front of it to unlock a hidden ladder underneath. Go down the long ladder and prepare to be invaded by the NPC Anna. Once you defeat her, you can either rest up back at the site of Grace or continue on to the boss fight. If you used many flash during the invasion, I highly recommend you just rest. Once you're at the end of the pathway, there will be another horn to blow, and this takes you to Metyr's boss room. But before we actually get into the fight, let's talk about the build I went with. I used the Greatsword aspected to Cold with the Lion's Claw Ash of War, and the Fingerprint Stone Shield with the No Skill Ash of War. I have the Misericord also aspected to Cold for higher criticals, but I didn't end up needing it for this fight. As for armor, you can really go with anything, but I used the Rakshasa set for this fight. Again, armor is kinda arbitrary, I just really like this set. As for talismans, I'm using the Ritual Sword Talisman for 10% damage boost at full health, Shard of Alexander for 15% boost on skills, the Great Jar's Arsenal for equipment load breathing room, and the Pearl Drake Talisman +3 for added damage negation for her magic-based attacks. As for my Wondrous Physic, I had the Magic Shroud and Crack tier for added magic damage, and the Winged Crystal tier for light dodge rolls slotted in. If you want added defense with the shield, you can also use a staff to use the Scholar's Shield spell to boost it by 30% guarded physical and 70% guarded magic damage reduction. As for my stats, I was level 224, but you do not need to be this high of a level for this strategy to work, as having a high Fragment Blessing level is much more important. I was at Blessing level 15 when I fought Metyr, so that's roughly the recommended level I'd go in at, but again, up to you. I had the following values for my build: 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 43 Endurance, 80 Strength, 39 Dexterity, 21 Intelligence, 32 Faith, and 8 Arcane. You can tool these numbers to fit whatever level you're at or whatever build you go with, but if you're at Metyr, I'm going to assume you're probably higher level than the meta 150. Before we take on Metyr, there's a few things you'll want to know. One, she's weak to slash damage, so if you're using katanas, claws, etc., she's weak to those. However, I went with the Greatsword as I always do because I'm looking to take her down as quickly as possible before she ever gets a chance to unleash hell in phase 2. And as for the second thing, her chest is her weak spot and you can do loads of damage by targeting it with attacks. It also makes it easier to break her stance, and we need that for this strategy to work. When you arrive in Metyr's boss arena, you have time to buff and everything before Metyr knows you're there, so be sure to do so before approaching her. I usually go Wondrous Physic, Golden Vow, and then Flame Grant Me Strength. Once you're done buffing, approach Metyr and she'll likely open with a laser attack. If she does the laser attack, just tank it with your shield while running and getting close. She'll do a straight shot and then follow it up with a sweeping laser, which you can tank both with the shield. My strategy is to get in super close and start unloading the Lion's Claw Ash of War on her weak spot. It takes roughly 3 hits of Lion's Claw on the chest to break her stance, but you can also use the Stone Barbed Crack tier if you want to possibly make that less. Once staggered, her head will drop down and you can hit a critical on it. She recovers fast, so make sure you get to the head quickly before she does. You can swap to the Misericord if you're fast enough, but for me, just focus on getting the critical for that extra massive damage. Metyr also has a few attacks to watch out for. She'll sometimes jump in the air and try to land on you, and can also smash her head down for a heavy attack. You can tank the head smash with the shield, but for the leaping attacks you'll want to dodge to her sides as far away as you can to avoid the impact. When she reaches phase 2, Metyr will raise up in the air and unleash a burst of purple light. This can damage you, so be sure to protect yourself as much as possible. The strategy is to dodge roll into it as the blasts go, but as you can see, I didn't do that. I still survived, but that's not really the point. The same strategy applies from phase 1 to phase 2, as her weak spot hasn't changed, she just gets slightly more aggressive with more tools in her arsenal. There's also a move where she has an area of effect below her and 2 lasers that come out rotating around the area outside. I didn't see this move at all during the fight, but from what I've seen, the strategy is to either Bloodhound Step, tank the damage, or try to time the dodge roll perfectly. For the second laser, you can just get close to the area of effect below her, and it'll act as a safe buffer zone between it and the laser. Keep hitting the chest weak spot with Lion's Claw, break her stance, and land that critical. Rinse repeat until Metyr is down, but the fight's not over just yet. Once you've defeated Metyr, return to the cathedral. Once there, walk into the cathedral and you'll be greeted by another invasion and a second boss fight. Defeat the invader and then Count Ymir will appear. This boss fight is more annoying than hard because Ymir summons the finger creepers constantly and also teleports all over the place. You'll want to time your Ash of War here to counter his teleporting, but he doesn't have a lot of health, so this fight will hopefully be over quickly for you. Watch out for his spells though, as they can be surprisingly hard hitting. Take out Ymir though, and all his little finger creepers will disappear and the boss fight will be over. Hopefully this guide helped you take on this series of challenges, and if so, be sure to light the bonfire on that like button. Also be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you never miss an upload. Thanks again for watching, and for all the latest Elden Ring build guides, boss fight guides, and more, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.